This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. It's mimicking the I-cord. So you can feel a little knob, but you can't really see it when you just casually look at it. And this is what we're gonna mimic with our second cup cozy here. It looks really nice. In order to graft the two ends of the I-cord together, we will mimic these sideways knit stitches with our working yarn, and we're gonna try our best to close the gap. I like to start at the outside of the work, and as you can see, because this is where we started the I-cord and this is where we finished it, this kind of runs from our fabric into the I-cord, and we kind of want to hide that so that it looks like the I-cord is separate from our work. This is where we actually started picking up stitches, so this was the end of our I-cord. So I'm going to choose a stitch from this first column of stitches which doesn't really go into that fabric just yet, so that we can just kind of hide the fact that they are running together. So I would like to come out here in the middle of this stitch with my working yarn, and then I'm going to find the first proper little V shape on the other side here, and we're gonna go under both legs of that little V shape and then pull it through, and we go back exactly where we came from and snug it up a little here. So this way we sort of kind of mimicked that this I-cord is a continuous I-cord. There is a little bump there, but nobody is actually going to care too much about that. And we have to now come out in the next column of stitches, which is here. So I'm just gonna wander over one. So we are once again in the middle of one of these little V's, and we're gonna also go to the next column of stitches here, which is this one, go under both little legs and go back exactly where we came out of to mimic another knit stitch. We snug it up nicely. Now you have a little knot there, which if it bothers you, then by all means just go into the next stitch to hide that. And we just have to find the last column of stitches, which is right at the bottom here. Now this will not matter at all because this is completely in the back of our work, but we do it anyway. This is our last row of I-cord stitches, and I'm just gonna go into this one and then come back in the middle of this one, snug it up, and we kind of mimicked that the I-cord is continuous. And after we've done that, I am going to just weave in my end in the back of my work so it's not visible. First thing I'm gonna do is just knot it, and then I'm going to actually hide this yarn tail in the inside of the I-cord, which is a really good place to hide things. So you just go in with your needle into the inside of the I-cord, making sure that your needle doesn't poke out anywhere. And I just go back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that it won't loosen up. Cool. At that point, I will cut this yarn. I usually pull it a little bit, then I cut it, and then as I straighten the I-cord, it just kind of disappears inside. So that's one side done. It looks pretty neat. Probably not my best work, but for the purpose of this demonstration, it will do. And I will do this again, just so you guys can see one more time. On the other side, which is the bind off side. So it's going to be probably slightly different because it's a bind off, not a cast on. So I will come out in the middle of my first proper V-shaped stitch, and I will go into the first nicely V-shaped stitch and go back where I came out of, and then snug it up. That's it. Essentially, continuous line of stitches. Now with the next column, there's a little knot to hide, so I'm gonna come to the next stitch and jump over that one, come back where I came out of, and when I pull it closed, it's gonna hide at least some of that little knot pretty well, actually. Yeah, so I've got a continuous row of stitches there, a continuous row of stitches there, and I just have one more to go, and sometimes the last one is not even important at all. I just try to find a V shape nonetheless. Say, let's go with this one, and it doesn't actually matter if you go bottom to top or top to bottom, as long as you go through both legs of those I-cord stitches. I'm not even entirely sure where the next one is, so I just go with this, and I go back to where I came out of. This is it, closed, snugged up, and pretty neat. Yeah. You know, if you're not that fussed about the finish, you can just close them any way you want. You don't have to graft them, but I just think it's a good V-scale to have. Oh, sorry, I'm knocking over my camera here. It's a good V-scale to have anyway. It gives it that really nice finish, and you put all this effort into making something pretty, so you might as well just go into the extra effort of grafting them together and make it look really, really clean. And I'm just gonna do the same as on the other side, where I'm just gonna hide my working yarn inside of this I-cord, going back and forth a couple of times so that it doesn't get loose and doesn't untangle. And once I have done that, I will just cut my yarn, and we have got a lovely cabled cup cozy without the use of a cable needle, and we have learned how to do I-cord cast on, I-cord bind off, grafting of I-cord ends, and knitting 1 by 1 and 2 by 2 right and left lining cables without cable needle. All we have to do is try our little cup cozy. Oh, I have to actually remove the silicone one first, I suppose. Should have probably done that before. Try our little cup cozy on our cup. Oh, that is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I would be very happy if somebody would gift me this. I think this is a great teacher gift, a little secret Santa gift. Get well soon. Thank you for being in my life. Whatever. If you ever have some nice, beautiful scrap yarn that you want to use up, this is a great little project. It takes something like an hour to whip up once you know all the methods in it, and you can do it any color. I believe that semi-solid yarns work a little bit better. You can see that the more variegated maybe swallows the pattern a little bit, but I kind of like how the colors play. So it's just whatever you fancy. Any yarn you have, give it a go. Make one for yourself, make one for all your friends.